Hi, and welcome to the second video about table views. In the last video, we used a number of predefined styles for the cells in our table view. In this app, we're going to define our own cells. So we'll create a custom class for table views. The subclass is table view cell, and we'll use it. We're going to create it two ways. We'll first of all create it, and when we initialize the cell, we'll do it entirely in code, which is going to be a bit fiddly because we've got to specify the sizes of everything. Then we'll use the interface builder to build a prototype for those cells, and we'll replace the custom code for defining cells and let the interface builder cell be used as the prototype for a new cell. So we'll create a new project. Again, just a single view. Table. Our interface is going to look just the same. So let's get a table view. Constrain it in the appropriate ways. Make this be both the data source and delegate, though I actually don't think we're going to use the delegate in this app, but to prevent the mistake we had last time, we'll go ahead and do those things. We'll add an outlet to the table view, to the view controller for the table view. Okay. And I think that's it for our user interface. So we'll go to the view controller. Our table view cells are going to be their own custom class, so we need to add a file for them, for that class. It's going to be a CocoaTouch class. We're going to subclass table view cell rather than table view than the table view itself, and we'll call it a name and color cell. But in this app, we're going to display information about a bunch of models of Mac computers, and in particular, we'll say the name of the Mac and what color it is. It will be in each cell. So we're going to need 4 pieces of text: the word name, the name of the machine, the word color, and then the color of the machine. We don't need an XIB file, and we can go ahead and create that class, and we want it in our main folder. It's here. Let's go ahead and edit it. Now, we'll set these to be empty, and let's go ahead and make, we're going to need outlets for these labels, so I'll go ahead and create that as well. Oops, that's not a type. It's string. Okay. So we've got our variables, and we need to now put in the code to initialize. Let's go ahead and I'm going to add some code to some did-sat methods to the declarations of the name and color strings. so that we'll when we assign them, it'll the right thing will happen in the view. So again, this is just causing the appropriate thing in the table cell to change when we change the property itself. We also have to add some initialization code. And this is the part that I was talking about that's fiddly and has lots of dimensions in it. So this will go in the class for the name and color cell itself. And we're going to override two init functions. And what we're going to do is create 4 subviews, add them into the table view. And the way you create a subview in code, you specify a rectangle that will be the size of it. Then create, and now we're going to create a label with those dimensions. A label has an alignment property, so we're going to align that. We'll right align that. We'll set the name of this text field to be name. We'll set its font to be bold 12, and we'll add it to the subview. And it's added at these coordinates, this size, relative to the table cell. Then we do essentially the same thing for the color. And those lines look pretty much exactly like this, except we're replacing it with a color. And we're putting the word color underneath. Same X, much lower Y. Then we will put the value for the name. That's a string that we'll, well actually it gets set whenever you make an assignment to the name and color properties up above. But this is creating, so we don't need as much stuff here. We're just going to create the rectangle and add a view with it with the appropriate name. Now this is essentially just a magic spell. You've got to have it. We won't talk till chapter 13 about why you've got to have it. But if you don't, you won't compile. It'll say that you're missing a required init method. Okay, so that's our custom cell. Now we've got to change the main view controller to use our custom cell. So let's go back to the view controller. And we're going to be the data source for the table view. So I'll try not to make that mistake this time as well. And we'll create some data, and then we'll put in the data source methods, and I'll grab those from the book code. So we'll use, for the string for our cells, we'll use cell table identifier, and we're going to have an array of dictionaries, where each dictionary has a name and a color for a number of different computers. That's our data for the table. And we will need to, when we run view did load, we need to tell the table to use our name and color cell class as the cells, and use the cell table identifier. And it looks like I've got a second declaration of the outlet that I copied in there by accident, so let's get rid of that. And now we need to add the data source methods. So again, we have a method that just returns the count. Here's our code to recycle cells, and the only thing we have to add is that the cells are going to be as name and color cells, not just generic UI table view cells. Then our code to select the appropriate data and fill in the name and color properties of our custom cell class, and then return the cell itself. And that should be everything we need to run. What we should see is a table then with 5 cells, and each cell has name, colon, the name, and color, colon, and the color. And there we are. You can see that we fooled a little bit with the fonts and the sizes, so these are a little bit smaller than these, but if you look carefully at the code for creating cells, you'll see that all these size numbers match up pretty well to what we're displaying there. Now, if you're doing this on your own, that's going to be a fair amount of fiddling. Maybe a good bit more fiddling than you want to do in terms of steps of edit, compile, test over and over again to get all that right. So another way to do this, rather than specifying the subviews of the cell with code, we can create a little interface builder file that does it for us. And that's what we're going to do in the next video.